I'm doing this video to say thank you to everyone who has supported me so far. It has been a crazy few weeks since I did the first one. I have had a lot of friends who have been great. They passed around my story. They've been inviting people to come to my store and to bid on the carriers that I have available, which is fantastic. I have had enough orders off of the first batch that I've actually run out of tape, which I didn't expect. So tomorrow morning, that's the very first thing I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to be going out and buying tape so that I can keep wrapping the rest of them. And I've also had support from friends that don't necessarily hang around on Facebook all that often. They're friends that I tend to see in real life. And so it was kind of funny because I'd be like, yeah, I need a beer, or let's go out to lunch. And they're like, okay, it's Christmas, it's kind of busy, let's see when we can make this happen. And then a couple of instances, then, they're like, oh, well, let's go check out Facebook. And they're like, holy shit, Deborah, what on earth is happening? And I'm like, that's why I need a beer. That's why I need a lunch. So thanks to all of my friends, including the popsicle loving ones. The popsicle loving ones, you have enabled me to let out a bit of the crazy and a little of the stress and have a few laughs, which is always appreciated. And so where I am with this crazy project, as you can imagine, it has not been all ice cream and sunshine the last few weeks. I have had people not understand what it is that I'm doing. I've had people say, well, why can't you both keep your names? I've had people say, you're too local, you don't have the right to it. Most of the discussions I've had have been pretty respectful, and I'm a person who doesn't mind a difference of opinion, and I don't mind explaining my point of view. Even though it's weird, I'm not used to talking about myself and my opinions this much. It's kind of odd. And there's been a couple of times where I have felt bullied, but what are you going to do? Life's like that. You just don't count on those people, right? And so one of the things that has come up is the idea that I'm local. And so to clarify, I've never seen baby wearing in Canada as something local. It's always, in my mind, had a national vision. So baby wearing in Canada is all about building and creating and supporting community, and it's about making Canada stronger. I think we live in the best country in the world. Yeah, it's not perfect, but I love this country. We are so friggin' lucky to live here. And things that make Canada stronger, in my mind, is supporting Canadian businesses. Through Fountain of Dreams, I have purchased as many carriers as I could afford when I was managing my collection every year from Canadian stores and from Canadian carrier manufacturers. I've purchased them. I didn't think that these business women, and most of them are women, deserved anything other than the respect that I could give them by saying, I think that what you're doing is great, here's my money. The other thing baby wearing in Canada has always been about, it's always been about providing a voice for Canadians. Canadian points of view. When I post things on the Baby Wearing in Canada Facebook page, it either has, a Canadian interpretation of what I see there, or it is from a Canadian news source. A Canadian news source. How often do we say, hey, what about Canada? Well, I've created a place for that so that we don't need to say, hey, what about us? It's a space for our voice. I launched Baby Wearing Week in Canada as a recognition that the whole point of baby wearing isn't, carriers are cool, and I have carrier-itis. If anyone else does, I own a lot of them, and they're really pretty. But the whole point of the baby carrier is what it enables you to do. The freedom it gives you, the closeness it gives you with your child, the ability to get out of the house and do things. And that's why, for me, the natural week for that is after the May 2-4 weekend. May 2-4 for Canada, for Canadians, is the weekend where we open up our cottages, where we go to the parks, where the festival seasons launch, and we really get out in full force and enjoy this beautiful, wonderful country of ours. And what a better way to do that than with your babies and your families and your toddlers and your older children all at the same time, where you're not limited in any way, shape, or form because you have full mobility as a result of having a baby carrier. And so it will be happening again in 2015. If you have community events that you would like posted, certainly you can let me know. That would be great. And then the last aspect of Canadian support as part of Baby Bring Canada is the vision I see for the postpartum support groups. We are really lucky. We get a year of paid leave. And that's great, but there's sort of this like disconnect that happens where you have your regular life, you pop out of it to have a baby, and it keeps going without you, and suddenly you're feeling a little isolated and alone, and you have this child who you haven't learned to interpret and you haven't yet learned to communicate with, and you know, they're so variable. Like, one day they'll be sleeping through the night, the next day you're like, what happened? Where did that baby go? And you know, there's things that crop up like communication difficulties with your partner, postpartum depression issues, nursing support, like how to nurse in a carrier, and all of that to me has always been interconnected. And then you get to come to my group and you meet some really cool parents and you get to find things that you have in common, and it's just, you know, it's just a great place to go and be. And I feel blessed because I have parents now coming back with their third child, and they really like my group format, and I'm going to be creating this so that it can be offered as an option across the country for those who are interested in it. With respect to my business, I'm still going to be posting carriers for sale over the holiday season. The auctions won't end though until after the new year. It's the holidays, you know, it's time for me and for all of us to find those moments where we stop and we grab a breath and we take a look around us and we say hello. We say hello to the people that mean so much to us, that we want to be part of our community and that we need to connect with in order to feel whole and sane and supported. So for those of you who have passed around my sale link, I appreciate it. If you could keep doing it, you know, in the spaces in between, that would be fantastic. Because I have, like I said, I ran out of tape, so I've sold quite a few carriers. It's nowhere near enough to cover my costs. I am going to be including like a couple of options if maybe there's nothing there that you want and you want to donate a bit of money to help me, then you can do that now. And I have another meeting with the lawyers, and I am now sort of batting 2 for 2. I am the person with the longest continuous use of the common law trademark Baby Ring in Canada, and I'm first to file. Everything else I will take a look and do after the holidays. I need a break, right? It's the holidays, let's have some fun. And I still need to go for a cup of beer. So to everyone who has asked, how can I help, who has forwarded the information, who has posted it, who has shared it, who has purchased a carrier from me, you've been wonderful. I appreciate it. To everyone out there, to my Jewish friends, I know Hanukkah is almost over. I hope you've had a great holiday season. For everyone else, Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and I'll be touching base with you guys on the other side.